We're here in Marina Del Rey, beautiful Marina Del Rey Hotel, and super excited to announce one of our new portfolio companies. I'm here with the founder, Kristen from Nomadica.
Hello, it's good to be here. I'm very excited about joining the Sweater family.
Awesome. Yeah, welcome to the fam. So, yeah, we're going to try some wines today and chat, and would love to hear a little bit about your story and how you started Nomadica.
Absolutely. So I dropped out of Harvard Med School to become a sommelier about 10 years ago. I've spent the last 10 years working at various Michelin restaurants all over the country, everywhere from 3 Michelin star Saison, Sons and Daughters. I ran the program for Sean Brock at Husk in Nashville. Most recently, I was here in beautiful Los Angeles at Osteria Mozza working for Nancy Silverton. And yes, it's really cool to sell a $3,000 bottle of Petrus, but I always loved when somebody my age would come in and they'd be really intimidated to talk to the sommelier, and I'd get them into a really great bottle and show them that A, great wine does not need to be expensive, and B, that there's a whole world outside of Napa Cabernet Sauvignon. And so I wanted to do that on a larger scale, like bring sommelier curation, break down that barrier in education between the consumer and the winemaker, sommelier, retail shop, etc. But I didn't know the form it would take until I looked at the data, because I love data, and found out that alternative packaging and premium wine were the 2 fastest growing segments in the premium wine industry. And so I decided to go into cans. I was further enthused by this value prop when I found out that the majority of the carbon footprint in a bottle of wine comes from the actual bottle itself. I did not know that. And in the US, 90% of people consume wine within the first hour of purchase. Like, we're not buying wine to age it and cellar it here. So why shouldn't we have something high quality and delicious, but also with half the carbon footprint of a bottle? And Nomadica was born.
So, super excited to chat about the wine, but kind of want to back up to the very beginning. So, you left Harvard. What was that experience like, and what was kind of the catalyst to make that jump?
Kind of a crazy time in life. So I went back to school and did a pre-med post-bac at Harvard, which is like a feeder into the med school if you can tough it out. And at the time, I was working in a little wine bar in Cambridge in Harvard Square. And the woman who owned it just mentored me, took me under her wing, let me taste constantly with her. And at the time, she got diagnosed with ALS. And I just thought so differently about how short life was in that moment. You know, she was in her early 40s, she was like 41, so much joie de vivre, so much energy, joy, and love of life. And I realized I was spending all this time doing something I really hated. And being a sommelier is a less certain career path than being a doctor, for sure. My parents, I think, still
wanted you.
Yes, I think they'll endlessly be disappointed. I'm like, I'm a CEO, and they're like, doesn't matter, you could have been a doctor. But it was a really hard decision, but one that I have, for not 1 second, ever regretted.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Cool. Well, let's talk about some of these wines. So tell us, just kind of like what we're looking at here, and like just a little bit about, you know, the offering and whatnot. And then we'd love to hear about like the vineyard, like where the wine's from, and we could just kind of talk organically about it.
So I'm not making the wine myself. Maybe someday I'll be a winemaker, but I am a true sommelier. I'm a great curator. So as a somm or a wine director in a restaurant, you will taste hundreds or thousands of wines and find the best one for the price and deliver that value to the consumer. So that's exactly what I'm doing with Nomadica. We work with a pretty wide network of boutique independent producers who practice sustainable farming. That is so important to me. How we define that, because there's not really any legal definition, is absolutely no use of synthetic pesticides or synthetic fertilizers in the vineyard. I always say great wine is made in the vineyard and not the cellar, and we take that motto to heart here. Again, there are 72 different chemicals that are legally allowed to be put in a bottle of wine and not disclosed on the label. And so we lab test to ensure that there's no chemical manipulation in any of our wines. It's all literally just grapes, water, and yeast and time. And I also source in what I like to say are ubiquitously pleasing flavor profiles. So I do have a theory, after working on the floor of restaurants for so long, that there are certain flavor profiles that literally everyone likes, whether you are a sommelier, somebody who's an occasional drinker, somebody who knows what they like, but not necessarily, doesn't want to think about it too much. And so we source in that vein. Everything's bright, refreshing, high acid, and universally loved. And then this is a big one for people. Everyone loves this fact. All of our wines are fermented dry. So we're not breaking the mold here. Most European wine is fermented dry. But what that means is during fermentation, the yeast metabolizes all of the grape sugars. So each can has 0 grams of sugar, which all of our customers really love that.
Yes.
We're better for you and we're better for the planet, is what I like to say.
Okay, nice.
That's
Cool.
dope.
Yeah, let's
Cool.
open some wine. All right.
Okay,
We start with,
we're gonna start with this bad boy.
Beautiful.
let's give them a close-up of the art.
And then if you want to show that little QR code on the back of the can, so if you're ever wondering what to pair your wine with, that QR code takes you to a playlist made by DJs for each wine and list pairing, tasting notes, all the information you could want and more.
So it's a whole experience.
It is a whole experience.
Oh,
We are an immersive vibe.
Love it.
And so we've got some beautiful oysters here. So I think this will pair very well with our sparkling white, which is
Beautiful.
actually the official wine at SoFi Stadium, which is pretty exciting.
So tell me about the swirl, because I know there's like a lot of different, like is the swirl important on the glass, or what are your thoughts?
Okay, this is my hot take.
Yes.
Don't ever swirl your wine right away.
Got it.
You want to smell it first,
Okay.
and then you swirl it to let the oxygen open up the wine and do another. If you do that, you will look like such a wine pro.
Nice.
Yes, and always hold the glass here too, because you don't want to heat up your wine.
Yeah, good call, good call.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to Nomadica and sweater.
And sweater. So this is,
Beautiful.
it's so good, right?
Yeah, really good.
For our sparkling white, I really love
Coming out of
aromatic
the can,
varietals.
Insane.
Right? Thank you. We're changing the perception of wine in can.
Love it.
Also, I think a really great thing that we've heard from our customers, we talk a lot about the idea of conscious consumption. At Nomadica, premium wine made the right way, doing right by the earth and lowering your carbon footprint. But beyond that, I love the idea of responsible consumption, and this is really the perfect pour. It's a glass and a half, I don't know how many of you out there open a bottle and maybe consume more than you'd like to. We definitely do in my house. And so having just a perfect pour ready to go, cold in your fridge, has been incredible for so many of our customers. And they're actually saying they're drinking less and drinking better because of us. So,
Kristen, just want to say thanks for coming out. Super excited to partner with you, and we're excited about Nomadica, and here's to the future.
here's, let's go. Cheers.
Cheers.